Welcome back to M Hood Fishing, everybody. We're gonna fish for cats at one of my old haunts. You recognize it yet? That river is up a bit more than the last time I was here, which did not turn into a video. Still have the bomb buoy here. Thing looks like a playground rocket from the 80s, don't it? And it's a big bomb buoy! Oh, come on. One more time, M Hood. One more time. Bomb buoy! Bomb buoy! Yeah, you're right. We're fishing with the bomb buoy. That's a big ocean-going barge that's going through. It's going to put a nice wake in here. I've got some work to do before we can fish. There's a lot of stuff in the way. Ooh, that water is chilly. So a few days ago, this river was 55 degrees, and since then, it's come up to 57. And I'm excited about that. Let me tell you, I was excited when it moved from 55 to 56 because it was at 55 for a month or so, not budging. And that's what you want to see down here. Anywhere you're at on the river this time of year, you're watching that water temp. If you're not, you should be. You just ask Google what the water temp is near you. Probably would want to go with the biggest city near you. For me, it's New Orleans. And right now, the river is at 57 degrees. I think the gear, where that data is coming from, is up at the gauge at Carrollton, because that Carrollton gauge is reading 11.6 right now. It's a lot deeper out there than that, but that's its flood stage. So it's up at 11.6. And maybe about another week, it'll come up. But that's predictive. It could come up sharper than they're predicting. It could not. It could stabilize. But we're not going to see much of a rise anytime soon, especially on this session. We're just past the full moon period. That was 2 days ago, so this is the day after the full moon. We're kind of at a neap tide. We're going to be stuck at low tide for the entirety of this session, so we're not going to see a rise. But if it did rise, if the tide did come in, we would be up, the water line would be anyway, to the bomb buoy. In about a week, we'll be up at the bomb buoy. We've got to tie that thing off or we're going to lose the bomb buoy. Let's get this limb out of the way. I shot a lot of videos at this spot last year, but I was set up here between these trees. Bang, boom, right here. And sometimes I would have a rod here going this way. Can't really do it. Maybe I could do one position here, but I can't do the big fish position because the way this is set up in the corner of this old dock here, it's shallow, and as you go this way along it, it gets deeper, and so the current gets stronger, right? But look right there, there's a stand of young willows that sprouted up when the river was really low. So maybe we'll try this at some point this year because this is a good spot. Once we start getting into the season, in a few weeks it'll be just on fire here. But bringing a cat in might be tricky right there, or bringing in just retrieving your bait with your hook and everything. We might have to go out there to retrieve stuff that gets stuck or wrapped in that willow. We'll probably do this spot eventually, but we've got a better option, but not really. Still got stuff to get out of the way though. River spots tend to change constantly, especially from year to year when you have a low river and then a high river. If you haven't been visiting your spots over and over, maybe you don't realize the changes until it's too late. But I have been checking this spot out throughout the year, and I know that right here, you see that where that bit of stick is sticking up, that log? There's more than that there. There's a car seat stuck in the mud there that somebody brought it down here and it never got taken out. Too heavy for me to haul out. And then that limb. But other than that, which that stuff is right there, other than that, we've got a clear path to bring a big one in, or from here. We could get a big one here or there. I should have brought the boots down here. It's not that bad. It's only 57 degrees. Definitely refreshing to a point. I was kind of hoping that it would have a better sound than that. Somebody left their towel and their socks down here. We will kind of arrange these there. I'm gonna tie up one rig for you guys to show you what I'm doing. We're just gonna sit here and soak night crawlers because it's still early in the season, but we might be able to get a channel cat or something. I don't expect it to be like absolute fire, but I do think we have a chance of catching something. It might just be a fever from standing in that water almost barefoot. So we're gonna make a real simple rig here. It's a high-low rig or dropper loop. Do a surgeon's loop. It's basically an overhand knot, but I'm gonna do it twice so it stays strong. And there we go. Now we want to put our lead on. Since that river is up, it's got a strong current, but it's not going to be too bad because of our tidal situation. We're going to still just fish 4-ounce lead because that's what I have in the box right now. But it'll keep us in a, for the most part, keep us where we want to be, where we put the lead. It'll drift a little bit, but it shouldn't drift too much. It shouldn't be too extreme. I'm going to use 1/0 octopus hooks here. These are a good stout hook by VMC. I'm going to cow hitch the hook to the loop by pinching the loop as tight as I can. It can be a little difficult when your eye is small, but we want to just sit here and keep doing it till we got it. And we got it. We got that loop through the eye, and now we want to open it up and bring that hook through that loop. And that's my rig. Both rigs will be pretty much the same gear and everything. As you see, the important thing here is that the lead line is around twice the length of the hook line. Got another ocean going barge. This one's coming upriver. I know you're in here. There you are. You're hiding down there. I know a lot of people that act as if this is beneath them, soaking night crawlers, until they actually do it and go, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. But a lot of the times down here, surprises don't happen with night crawlers. It's mostly channel cat and blue cat and flatheads. A lot of times it's more likely channel cat and flatheads. Flatheads really like a live night crawler. We got this smaller skinny one here, but you can be surprised. And occasionally carp suckers are down here and other things. There are sturgeon here. They're a little more common, just a little further up river. And I don't mean like 1,000 miles. I mean just like maybe 100 miles. They have been caught down here. It's kind of rare. It's the smaller one. What do you call them? The pallid. There we go. It is cold. Oh yeah. Man, I should have brought a snuggly out here. So if you've never seen a video that I've shot here before, just like I said earlier in this video, shallow, deeper. It goes that way, from shallow to deep. So we want one bait over there and one somewhere in here. We're gonna cast for like the middle of this structure here, but it's probably gonna drift to the end. Ah! It happens to the best of us. Long time ago, I was fishing with a friend way out somewhere at a farm pond, and he had a bunch of Z-Man chatterbaits. I don't know, he bought like 5 or 6 earlier that day, and I was off to the side fishing other things, and one after another, right in a row, he kept doing that, casting them right off, forgetting to open his bail just like I did. I was just like, man, come on, how can you do that 5 times in a row? But yeah, it happened. I've never done it 5 times in a row, but yeah. Perfect. That's a good spot. Initially, that bait landed where you see the grouping of pylons. I said it's a good spot because I know it's going to drift to the right a good ways, and that's good. I don't want it to drift past where the structure ends too much because that can be snaggy. We're still in a good place to catch fish. Now we're going to try to put this close to the corner without hitting stuff that's over there that could snag us. And we want this bait to drift and stop around that group of pylons. So we got to start by putting it way to the left. Not bad, not all the way up in the corner, but in a good place, and it shouldn't drift too much past this grouping of pylons here. Hopefully it doesn't drift all the way past them to where the other bait is. That's what we don't want. It's what we're trying to avoid. Both these rods are 20-pound test. Sometimes that's you're undermatched when you come out here with a 20-pound test. Other times it's fine. It's definitely a lot of fun to get something in on 20-pound test. I have the drags kind of loose, not super tight, because if it's really tight, that you're in for trouble if it's tight. It's 4:15 right now. We got started just before 4. I'm gonna stay out here after sunset a little bit, not much. So David and Dee Dee, I had a cup of that tea, the one with the lion on it. What did it say, extra chummy or something? Chummy? Wow, it was pretty good. Pretty good. I had that before coming out here. Mild, really oaty, hoppy kind of flavor. It reminded me of kava kava without the bitterness. Pretty good. Thank you again. This is probably not a good time to tell you that no matter what happens on this session, I'm gonna upload it, whether we catch or not. So it's just how it goes this time of year. We're right on the edge. We're creeping up to it anyway. It's still early March. Our river temp is coming up. Our river level is coming up. We're getting really close to going off that cliff to where it's just fire. It's just happening. It's just knocking off every night before they start spawning. Catfish, blue cats, and channels and flatheads need a water temp of 70 degrees or more to start spawning. But I think we're probably going to see action once we get in the 60-degree range. 65 would be good, or going over 65, really good. I think it'll start happening. Not spawning, but the feeding, the pre-spawn feed up. But we're close. I mean, it's 57 degrees. It's still cold. It's good to be just throwing little baits right now and just hope for the best and enjoy the river, watch traffic go by. A lot of nothing, but yeah. Last time I came out to the river to do a session, we were saved by a channel cat, and we got the right bait out there for that, so maybe that'll be our saving grace this afternoon. Did you see it? You might not have. We just had the subtlest, the most subtle of a tap. Barely. I've given it a good 10 minutes. Maybe I should wait a little longer. Once I get a bite like that, even though it wasn't that big of a bite, I really don't want to leave it out there forever. I want to check it, bring it in, make sure we still have bait. There's a chance that maybe something just bumped into the line, some kind of debris. There's a lot of it in the river right now, clumps of grass and whatnot. There he goes. Don't hit my lines. Those birds are smarter than pelicans, I think. Session maintenance. Check the bait. Well, we still have bait, and this is what I was talking about earlier. There's a lot of this in the river. Usually is this time of year when the river comes up. That bit of grass could be the culprit behind that real subtle tap I saw. We're gonna leave that worm that's on there, just add to it. More session maintenance. We gotta check this one now. Same thing. Almost no worm. You see how it's almost gone. It's just all of it hanging off. Hooked once now. Still a big clump of grass. It's good that we're not finding grass on the hook though. It is now after 5, so we've been here for just a little bit over an hour. Maybe we had a bite, maybe it was just grass. Ideally, if I really wanted to bang into fish, if I wanted to up my chances a little better, I would go to a deeper spot. Unfortunately, there isn't a lot of options where I'm at on this side of the river at the moment with this level. There are deeper spots, but they're far more snaggy than this. What we're hoping for is that something will come up here to feed, because this structure here in this area behind the structure is very favorable for bait, and stuff will be here as we get into the evening hours. Like possibly once the sun gets down, there could be flatheads cruising around this structure looking for food. It's just a waiting game. It's tedious, it's monotonous. What makes it worse is that I am super amped from that one cup of tea. I'm surprised how strong that was for how mild I thought the flavor was. I enjoyed it, but man, I am amped, like I drank 2 monsters or something. So that makes this session a lot more tedious and boring. And the reason why I would go to deeper water right now is because it's gonna hold a better water temp, possibly more cats, but they're still gonna be not feeding very heavily. It is 5:43 now. That sun is just now going beneath the wall. It's gonna go fast. Temperature's dropping too by a little bit. It's gonna get into the 60s tonight. I think this session is going nowhere fast. Well, I kind of take that back, because here in reality, it's been going really slow. Oh, is it the Disney Cruise Line giving us that? Did you see that? We had a little tap tap on the worm. It's still going on. Both rods have fresh bait on them. So I haven't seen a bite or anything on this one, and every time I bring this one on the right end, it has no bait. I keep putting that in the deeper water towards the end. I was about to pick this rod up and pull it, because we're getting bites left and right. And as soon as I put my hand here, I had another bite. Very small, very subtle, but it tells me there's fish here. Probably channel cat. Got a little cold. We're coming up just to 7, almost there. I can't believe the ferry is still running. That is surprising. Gonna have to check that out. We'll hang out for this fire. It's keeping me a little warm. Oh, yes. Come here. We got you? Oh, yes. This is not a skunk session, not yet. I knew, just stay, just wait. That's why I was like, fire, we need a fire. Oh, he's right around that thing in the water. Oh, I think we got him past it. Yes. What do we got? Huh, what do you know? That is a little blue cat. Awesome. I was expecting channel. I am pleased. Bomb boy did not let me down tonight. Well, I mean, it's not much to get too excited about. Nothing to really write home about, as they might say back in the day. But it's better than walking around with your tail tucked the rest of the night, isn't it? It's a fish. Yeah, you're right. Let's see if he can swim from where the sand spikes are. Oh, he came right back. Come on, man. We're gonna have to do better than that, aren't we? You can't go up under there. I'll have to just walk him out to the deeper water, about right here, and just slip you in. Here we go. I wanted to leave, or I thought I would leave around 7, but now that I have this fire, I'm not going to leave right away. Right back out there is the plan. Yes. Well, I was just texting Craig back because he was wondering what was up, what I'm doing. I didn't have the light on him. Oh, it's going to be one of those nights we're going to be hanging out. I don't have a fish here, do I? I don't know. Nope. Wet leaves. Hopefully that works. I think so. That should give you a hint as to what's going on. Traffic on the levee. One night I was out here real late and I was just coming up the trail and I was gonna get on the levee, right? But I stopped because I heard a noise. Man, I'm eating these people's dust, so let's slow down a little bit. So I heard this noise sound like a vehicle coming, but there were no lights. And all of a sudden I saw it. This pickup truck doing about 50 miles an hour on the levee with no lights on. And I was like, thank goodness I wasn't up there. Well, there you go. Another absurdly long one fish video. Yeah, you're right, guys. I thought I was going to stay till about 8 o'clock. It got to 7:30. The headlight battery started to go, flashing on and off. And Craig was texting. So we're cutting it short. We got the fire out. Headed to the house. I'm going to go do something with Craig. So, yeah. Hopefully it'll get better. It's what it's like when it's just a little too cold, but not absolutely freezing. 57. It's exciting. Those 2 degrees, because it was stuck at 55, right? So it's real exciting that over the last few days, it jumped up 2 degrees. You got to look at the overnights. If you've got a lot of overnights sustaining 60 degrees or better, your water temp's going to come up. That's not the case just north of here. It's still winter up there. They just had a blizzard come through Indiana, so it might be a good while. But I tell you what, we're going to do some more catfishing this week, not in the river. All right, guys, thanks for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing. I'll see you next time.